week, net income was down 44% from $5.7 billion down to $3.219 billion. I can only imagine what the board meetings are, what the shareholder meetings are, taking down somebody who has been instrumental in pushing what we know as modern sneaker culture. All right. It is currently 8:41 p.m. on Monday, June 30th. This episode is supposed to be dropping today. So hopefully I'm able to record all this for you guys in one take, get it all edited and posted by the end of the night. If not, you guys will be seeing this on Tuesday, July 1st. So with that being said, what's going on, guys? And welcome to the JPD Podcast. This is episode 3. And if you haven't been here before, I'm your host, Jean-Luc Daigle, and this is where I break down everything relating to sneakers, fashion, pop culture, business, or whatever else I'm tapped into for the week. If you saw last week's episode, I went over the Nike versus StockX lawsuit. This week, we got some more Nike news, more Nike drama, not pertaining to the lawsuit, but it is going to be more drops, leaks and rumors, more lawsuits that they're involved in and have connections to, as well as some crazy fourth quarter financials that Nike released last week that showed that they are in a very, very interesting position right now financially. So with that being said, I'd like to thank you all for coming for the culture, and I hope you stay for the conversation. Before we get into everything, as you know, we got to go over the recent pickups. Just this past weekend, we had For the Culture. It was our first event of 2025. For those that have not seen the previous episodes, I run one of the biggest sneaker conventions in New England. We base it here out of Connecticut, where I'm from. And we had arguably our biggest event yet, 100 plus vendors, 500 plus people. We had tons of different giveaways, 3-point contests for some Kobe All-Star 2.0s, raffled off some Galaxy foam posits, gave away some Galaxy KD4s, raffled off some Rodeo SBs, gave away an NES system courtesy of our boy Chaz at the Flea Factory, and just a ton of other prizes like crepe wipes. We gave out wristbands, stickers, sneaker keychains, Funko Pops, shoe trees, just a ton of different stuff, right? And something that no event is doing, right? And you know, I did a little shopping around to see what there was, and I got some pickups from the event. But the first pickup I got was actually from one of our vendors. Shout out Dave, aka Plankomatic on Instagram. He did this really cool redesign of our event flyer, all freehand and hand colored. And he actually showed up to the event with some cool t-shirts, For the Culture t-shirts to be exact. And it had the redesign of the flyer. So I'm going to show you guys this now. Hopefully the camera is able to pick it up well enough. This was totally unexpected. We had no idea that he was doing this. Oh, and also on the front, we got the For the Culture logo. So yeah, it was totally unexpected. And we were hoping to have some merch done for the event. And unfortunately that didn't happen on our end. But thanks to Dave, we actually had some official For the Culture merch and everybody was loving it. These, I'm pretty sure, completely sold out. So that was really cool to see. And I know Dave was really appreciative to see all the love and support from our team and our supporters for his table setup that he had. Another pickup I got from the event is, give me 1 second to grab this. It's going to be courtesy of, this is courtesy of my boy, Walter Santandria, aka the One Sneaker Shop on Instagram. He has been vending at our events since we first started back in 2022. And he's always come out to show support. And I guess as a thank you to what we've been doing within the sneaker community and putting on our events, he gifted me this net magnetism brick set. For those that are unaware of what net magnetism is, net magnetism does a lot of different, essentially they create Lego sneakers and things relating to sneakers and streetwear culture. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you will see that I have a Air Max 97 Sean Witherspoon Lego set behind me. This is also from Net Magnetism. I got this actually as a gift from my buddy Cole. for Christmas last year or 2 years ago, I think. So this set, we'll unbox it really quick, is the Awon Jordan 3. As you guys can see, this is the instruction booklet. Actually, the colors show up really nice on camera. It's a little difficult to tell. Excuse me. It's a little difficult to tell in person if the color is right on it, but it looks like it's got it like pretty much perfect on camera. But like a Lego set would be, you have all the packaging in here. This is the instruction manual, like I said. Follow along, helps you build the set. These are not official Legos. Let's make that disclaimer. But they are buildable brick sets. So very excited, and a huge thank you to Walter for gifting me this. It will definitely be either going on the display here that you guys see within the background, or I may throw this in my office at work. Who knows? Not sure yet. But I'll definitely be building this very soon. I got one more pickup from our event, which was I know I talked about this, I think it was in the first episode. I mentioned that I had no plans in getting this pair for myself, and I'm sticking by that. These are not for myself, although these are my size. It is the 2025 Air Jordan 4 white cements. Now, I got these as a gift for our cameraman at the event. Ever since I met him, he talked about how this was, one of his favorite shoes, and a shoe that he wanted for some time. And I've been trying to figure out a way to gift these to him at some point. And given that these just retroed and they weren't going for too bad of a price, I figured it was only right to gift him with this as a thank you for helping us out for our event. And I gotta say, absolutely clean in person. This is right on par with a nearly true to OG pair of Jordans. This is, I mean, I have to say, Jordan 4 is extremely heavy if you have never worn them before. But I mean, just look at that. The perfect cement splatter. Got the Nike Air hit on the back. You got the white cement gray all around. You got the old school plastic Nike Air orange hang tag on there that's clipped in there. None of that chain stuff that they had in some of the models throughout the 2000s and 2010s. This is that old school one where you snip this off, right? Or you leave it on, if you're a real OG when it comes to Jordans. But yeah, really excited to be able to give these to them. And like I said, still sticking to it. Don't plan on getting a pair of these for myself. So I'm going to stick to my word on that for you guys. Oh, I was able to get these off of 4L Kicks on Instagram. I'll be sure to tag him in the description below, just like Dave Planko as well as Walter Sant'Andrea for the pickups from the event. The last pickup is going to be my favorite, I think. And I didn't expect that I was going to like these. Here, we'll keep these off camera for a second. I didn't think I was going to like these until I got these in person. It is the Nike Zoom Field Jacks, aka the Travis Scott Nike shoes. This is in the, I think it's pronounced Leche or Lychee blue colorway. And the reason, I'll explain why I wasn't as excited for these shoes initially. So if we're unboxing them real quick, so I can show you guys. So here we have the shoes. Right, we got that Baroque brown, the Baroque brown all over the shoe. You got that cream upper as well as that bright Leche or Lychee blue, which is almost like a sort of a Pantone kind of university blue kind of color. The reason why I wasn't too thrilled about these to begin with was because the initial leaks that had come out about this shoe showed the entire upper as being in this blue colorway, and they obviously decided to go a different route and add on the cream and Baroque brown hits. But In person, I gotta say, a lot better. A lot better. The materials that they used, the suede that they used, the little corduroy hits that you got on the collar as well as the tongue, um, just much better than I was initially anticipating. They even got the little shark detail there on the side. What the reason why they have this, I think, or rather the significance of this, is originally people were expecting these to be called the Sharkadons or the Nike Travis Scott Sharks or something to that effect. And it's cool that they have that little shark detail there. For those who have never seen the Nike Spiridon, this is actually the same midsole and outsole as the Spiridon, and they merged onto this cross trainer type of upper. And yeah, this is essentially Travis Scott's official sneaker. This is actually the second colorway that they've dropped for this model. The original one was in the Baroque brown and cream colorway, the cream upper pair. And I think there's a few other colorways that they have that they've teased. A brown pair, I think, like a all white pair potentially dropping, and yeah, it's definitely an interesting shoe, to say the least. I will definitely be doing a video of these soon, potentially either this week or next week. So definitely stay tuned. I'll probably tag this somewhere in the episode once that video drops on my main channel at Jean-Luc Paul Daigle. And so be sure to keep an eye out for that. Check it out when it drops. Excited to talk about these a little bit more with you guys in depth. So that's going to leave it. That's going to end the pickups that we got. Also, what happened this weekend, which was pretty significant if you guys follow UFC at all, is Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira fought Saturday night for the lightweight title bout. Ilia Topuria moved up from the lower weight class that he was in up to 155, and originally was hoping to fight Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev ended up vacating his title, moving up to welterweight, and Ilia Topuria ended up having to fight Charles Oliveira for the title. And within the first round, halfway through, absolutely destroyed Charles Oliveira. So he cemented Ilia Topuria cemented himself as the 2-division champ, and there's potential grumblings out there that he may end up making the move up to welterweight as well to catch Islam Makhachev and to become a potential three weight class champion. So unfortunately, I ended up passing out after For the Culture because I was so exhausted. So I ended up catching the fight the morning after. But insane 2.5, 3 minute fight that it ended up being, and very excited to see more to come in the coming weeks with some more UFC stuff. Let me know if you guys are fans of UFC. I definitely would like to talk a little bit more about stuff outside of sneakers and streetwear, some more, sports related stuff and so forth. So definitely let me know about that in the comments below, and I'll try to incorporate that going forward. But let's move on to some of the main topics. So let's go over some sneaker news. Recently, Jordan Brand revealed finally the Air Jordan 40. Now, I won't lie, I completely lost track of what model they were on. For some reason, I still thought they were on like the Jordan 33 or 34. That's where my mind's at this point. Ever since COVID, everything past that has just been a complete blur. So I'm like 5-6 models behind when it comes to Jordan releases, but I'm pulling it up for you guys here on the screen. So as you guys can see from the official Nike newsroom site, Jordan Brand introduced the Air Jordan 40, a game shoe built for the next generation of greatness. This was on June 25th, 2025. So some key what to know, rather. The Jordan Brand Air Jordan 40 is a game shoe inspired by a storied 4-decade legacy and built for the next generation of greats, defining a new era of Jordan Brand basketball performance. This is the first time across Nike Inc. that the Air Jordan model has a full-length Zoom X foam with a full zoom strobel. Now, I don't know what strobel is. I'm going to look that up for you guys really quick. Okay, so from what I'm seeing on this is on Reddit, the Zoom Strobel does away with the Strobel board so regular Zoom Air is embedded in the foam midsole like the Zoom shape has a carved out space where it sits in it. Generally, Zoom is felt more near uh it's felt more nearer to your foot. Sometimes it's bottom loaded, which means it's in the bottom of the midsole foam near the outsole, and sometimes it's top loaded where it's top of the midsole near your foot. It can be felt easier when it's top loaded, but there's still a strobel board in the way, which is a stiff piece of fabric that is heavily glued down. Okay. The Zoom Strobel does away with the strobel board and just has the Zoom right up there, maximizing its feel and bounciness. The only thing between your foot and Zoom is the insole. Okay, so essentially, you don't have that. If you guys ever take your insole out of your shoe, there is this like grayish material. It's that's the strobel board. That is no longer existent. It's just right to the Zoom unit inside, and then the insole on top of that, and when you step your foot in. So very cool to see that they are finally evolving the Jordan brand line to be more performance oriented. It's been tough, honestly, with the Jordan line since really the Jordan 14s, since Jordan stopped playing for the Bulls. The line has been interesting to say the least, and there's been a few models that have been pretty standout, specifically like the Jordan 29s, the Jordan 31s, the Jordan, I want to say the 38s were pretty significant in terms of being more performance oriented, but it looks like this model they're really going for more of that performance oriented feel. And I'm glad to see that because really the only thing that you see people wearing right now is like Nike Kobe's and LeBron's um and models that aren't Jordan models, right? And partly that's because the models that people generally wear from the Jordan brand are like from the 1 through 14, so they're all the original runs, the original run of shoes that MJ wore during his career, but also because they just haven't been having great models that are performance oriented like people are looking for, that give you that same feel as something like a Nike Kobe. So I'm hoping that this shoe sees some success. It's pretty cool to see that it is following Jordan's the Jordan brand, I guess, playbook since the release of the Jordan 31, where they've essentially been creating like a reworked version of some of the original models. So if you guys are familiar with the Jordan 31, that was inspired by the Jordan 1 to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the Jordan line. The Jordan 32 was based off the 2, the 33 off the 3, and so forth. So the Jordan 40 is based off of the Jordan 10, to my knowledge. That's what it looks like. And potentially maybe the Jordan 20 as well. I see some hits there in terms of some styling. So definitely carries forward on that iconic design language that we've seen within the Jordan line, and excited to see what they come up with for this shoe in terms of colorways. I saw there was a dusty pink colorway that is set to drop as well, but this particular colorway with the white and black is going to be dropping on July 12th at jordan.com and select retailers. Moving on to the next shoe, we have the Nike Levi's collab. So I'm pulling this up for you guys so that you see what I'm talking about. So Nike is going to be releasing in July 2025, going to be releasing the Nike Air Max 95 Levi's pack. Now, if you guys have yet to see, be sure to check out my upcoming sneaker releases for July of 2025. That should be dropping. If it hasn't dropped already, it should be dropping shortly. I know I referenced it in the previous episode, but been a little bit delayed as I was planning for the culture this past weekend. So hoping to get that out soon for you guys. And if it's out by the time that this is dropped, definitely be sure to check that out. So the Levi's Air Max 95 is going to be dropping on, from what this is telling me on Sneaker Files, July 11th, 2025 for a retail price of $205. Now that is different, I believe, from when I was recording the upcoming sneaker releases. I believe I said it was going to be $225, but it seems now that it's dropped down to $205. So I'm not sure. It may be one or the other, but I don't want anybody coming at me saying that I gave the wrong price. I'm seeing two different prices right now online, so it's either $205 or $225. But this is going to be dropping in 3 colorways. It's going to be in a medium wash blue denim, a all black denim, and then a sail / cream salt denim washed colorway. Very cool to see Nike and Levi's collab again. If you guys were into sneakers around the mid to late 2010s, Nike dropped the Levi's Jordan 4 pack. It came in pretty much the same exact colorways. You had black, you had this salt gray, and then you had that medium washed blue denim. And that was a hot shoe back then that I think was retailed probably around like the $225 or $250 mark. It was going for like $300-$400 plus. I think at one point I saw $500 or $600. I could be wrong on that because it was a while ago that shoe was at it was the hype beast. I'm sorry guys, I'm thinking too fast from what I'm able to speak, but what I meant to say was it's been a while since that shoe has been considered a grail or one of the top shoes that people want. But it was very cool at the time because a lot of people were getting into that Neo, starting to kind of get into the customization more of sneakers. And it was right before the Neo vintage vibe came in the early 2020s. But people were doing cool distressings and cool different tie-dyed colorways and bleach dyes and all these crazy custom works. And I fully expect that to be happening again with the Nike Air Max 95 pack. This is actually just teased by Paige Beckers. Shout out to a fellow UConn alum. She was rocking this in the tunnel, rocking a full Canadian tuxedo alongside the Nike Air Max 95. They're also dropping a Levi's Nike denim jacket as well as jeans, which Paige was rocking with the salt cream denim 95s that you guys are seeing here on screen. So very cool. Like I said, very excited to see what people come up with for customs. And yeah, I'm going to try and get my hands on a pair of these. I'm not sure which colorway. I really do like the all black. For some reason, that's standing out to me the most. And if I do pick them up, as you guys know, I'm going to post about it. I'm going to talk about it either on my main channel or here on the podcast. So definitely stay tuned for that. On to the next sneaker release or upcoming sneaker news. Caitlin Clark's Nike Kobe 5. So when I recorded this last night, or at least tried to record the podcast last night, but I could not because I was completely exhausted and was running into issues with audio and visual. The Kobe 5, it was officially dropping on June 30th, which is today. So when I recorded this last night, or originally was trying to record this last night, I had no expectation that I was going to be able to hit on these. And lo and behold, somehow I miraculously hit on this pair, and I'm excited. I gotta say, it is a wild looking colorway. It's actually inspired by Caitlin Clark's uniform from the Indiana Fever, which she plays on in the WNBA. And this, I think, is her first. Yeah, this is her first Nike Kobe model to drop. She is known to play in Nike Kobe's and in a few other colorways, and most notably, obviously, this PE having dropped today is the first of hopefully many PEs that she drops. It comes in this almost midnight navy upper with a sunburst red fade to yellow type of hits. You got on the heel cup, as well as the swoosh outline, the tongue of the shoe, and the laces are finished off with that bright crimsony orange color. Like I said, really interesting colorway. They retailed for a price of $190. I think currently they, from what I saw on StockX and GOAT, they're reselling around the, I want to say the mid to low threes on StockX. GOAT, I'm not sure. GOAT's usually about probably $20 to $50 higher market wise, but not sure how this is gonna how this shoe's gonna perform once these land at people's doorsteps. I'm sure that there will be a slight drop, but given that this is her first colorway to drop, this should see some significant increase in resale value over time. All right, so I apologize for interrupting, guys, but as I was editing, it turns out that the second half of this podcast episode, the audio and visuals got completely corrupted. And because of that, I now have to go back and re-record this episode. So if anything changes really abruptly, or if it seems like things are different in the episode going forward, that would be why. I'm going to be picking up right after talking about the Caitlin Clark Kobe 5 PEs, just for you guys' reference. So I'm just picking up right from those topics onward. If you guys are watching or listening on YouTube, do me a favor, like the episode and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget that you want to hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my episodes. I drop one every single Monday. If you guys are watching or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do me a favor and follow the podcast, as well as give it a rating. I really appreciate the support. With that being said, guys, let's get back to the episode. All right, guys. So this is my re-recording for the second half of this episode. Like I had mentioned in the little edit snippet, I ran into some issues with the audio and visuals for this episode. So the second half of the recording, the initial recording that is, became corrupted, and unfortunately I have to re-record. But good thing is I can pick up right where we left off, which was the Caitlin Clark Kobe 5s. Like I had mentioned, these retailed for $190, and I'm excited to see what happens with these from a resale perspective. I think I had mentioned previously that they were going for around like $330. At least that's what they were going for right after they had dropped. But I looked at these a little bit more on StockX since the initial recording, and it looks like the size 11 that I got is going for $360. So it's already up $30. So curious to see what happens in the next week or two as these hit everyone's doorsteps. Moving on. The last shoe that I want to go over is going to be the Union Fragment 1. So this is a little first look that we got, courtesy of Fragment's co-founder, Hiroshi Fujiwara. Allow me to pull this up for you guys. So the Union Jordan 1, for those that were not into sneakers in the mid to late 2010s. Around 2018, 2019, Union LA collaborated with Nike and Jordan Brand to bring us the Union Jordan 1. There were two colorways they dropped, one being the Storm Blue and Bread 1 colorway, and the second being the Black Toe and Neutral Gray colorway and hybrid model. Then flash forward to I believe the early 2020s, and we have a new Jordan 1 Union that came out, which was based off of the Nike Footscape. That model did not do as well, and everybody wanted another colorway based off of the initial two models that they dropped. Flash forward a few more years, and we finally end up getting what originally was a Friends and Family, the Chicago Shadow colorway. That dropped in March of this year, and it appears as though we are finally getting the triple collab that everybody has been wanting from Union and Nike / Jordan Brand, which is going to be the Fragment Union Air Jordan 1 High. Like I mentioned, this was spotted on Hiroshi Fujiwara, the founder of Fragment Design. He is rocking what they're dubbing the Sport Royal colorway. It's essentially a hybrid between the Royal 1 as well as what looks to be the Midnight Navy or like a neutral gray Jordan 1. I have to say, I think this may be the best colorway of the Union run that they have been dropping. I do have a bit of a bias, as you guys can see in the background here. Let me just make sure that the camera's picking it up. Yep. So as you guys can see here in the background, I got a pair of Royal 1s. Let's pull these out for you guys. So this shoe, the reason why I have a bias with this Union Jordan 1 is the Royal 1, the specific Jordan 1 right here, is the first Jordan as well as the first sneaker I had ever camped out for. I got these on drop day 2017, camping out at Foot Locker at my local West Farms Mall in Farmington, Connecticut. It's got a lot of sentimental value to me, and just because of that, I have a soft spot for the Royal 1. As you guys can tell, I keep these very crispy, even though I have worn these a ton and actually performed in these when I was at UConn as part of the Drumline. I have done my best to keep these as mint condition as possible and clean up every single time after I wear them. I even got some sparkles on the uppers. Anybody that is knowledgeable in Jordan 1s knows that if you have that sparkle from the oxidation within the leather, that means that you have a very clean, very, very, very clean pair of Jordan 1s. So let me put this back in my storage bin. So back to the Union 1s. This is expected to drop in what looks to be spring of 2026. At least that's what this article is telling me. A little disappointed. I was hoping that we would get an earlier release of this shoe, especially because we waited so long to see the Chicago Shadow colorway drop. But it looks like they are holding out for what looks to be another 6 to 7 months or so. This is saying that we're seeing a release date of February 2026 for a retail price of $205. So we shall see how that goes, but I will be sure to keep an eye out for any updates regarding this shoe, drop dates, price point changes, and so forth. I will say that I missed out on the Chicago Shadow ones. I actually had exclusive access granted to me on the Nike Sneakers app, and I completely missed the notification while I was at work. So I definitely do not want to miss this pair when they finally drop. Moving on to our 3 main stories. So last week, in the past couple weeks, there have been some interesting news relating to Nike and the shoe surgeon. Nike is going on an absolute lawsuit tear right now, and they just recently entered a confidential settlement agreement after the swoosh sued the shoe surgeon in June of 2024 over trademark infringement. So Nike had accused the shoe surgeon of trademark infringement, counterfeiting, false designation of origin, and unfair competition. The shoe surgeon has agreed to pay an undisclosed amount to Nike, and the agreement allows the surgeon to create one-of-one customs under special circumstances, but the shoe surgeon cannot produce or sell any products using Nike trademarks. Anybody that is unfamiliar with who the shoe surgeon is, shoe surgeon, aka Dominic, I believe it's pronounced Chambrone or Chambrone, is a sneaker customizer, or at least started off as a sneaker customizer back in the mid 2010s. He took regular general release Jordan 1s, or really any Jordan models or Nike models, and reconstructed those from the ground up using premium materials like calfskin, reptile leathers, like different exotic leathers, different furs and other materials to create a premium, more elevated and luxury sneaker from what we were getting from Nike at the time. Nike filed a $60 million lawsuit against the shoe surgeon in June of 2024 because he essentially was taking their trademarks and in a way passing them off as his own. The reason I say that is because this wasn't like he was creating just simple one-of-one customs here and there. He would actually take orders, rather bulk orders for specific models, or do special releases of these shoes. And to somebody that is unsure of the legitimacy of these products, in some cases would be paying a high premium for these shoes, and in reality, they weren't officially licensed Nike products. Now, supposedly, these pairs were originally purchased from Nike retail locations, whether it's Nike or through Champs or Foot Locker or whatever, any of the retail locations that distribute Nike products. And he was reconstructing them. It's unsure if to what extent the legitimacy is behind that. Initially, when he first started off, that's what it appeared to be. But as things scaled up, and he also began opening up his what he called the surgeon studios, where he taught people how to create and how to disassemble and reconstruct and create their own versions of Nikes, essentially giving people the ability to go and copy and rip off Nike's designs and pass them off as their own. He gets whacked with this lawsuit. Now, I'm a little bit on the fence because I understand Nike's position, but I also see that if he is legally going and purchasing a Nike product at retail, and he now owns that product, he is free to destroy, cut up, tear, reconstruct, or do whatever he wants with that product, and then resell it as such for either less or a higher price point if he so chooses, right? It's no different than if I take a pair of Levi's jeans and I add some paint on them or some embroidery or what have you, and then I resell that as part of my brand, right? It's a base Nike product, it's a base Levi's pair of jeans, but it now has my touch, my flair on it, and it's no longer the original product that was sold by Levi's. So it's a little muddied in the water here as to um, how this case went. Obviously, they settled for an undisclosed amount, obviously with restrictions. However, like I mentioned, I'm on the fence about this, but it looks like he can't do anything relating to the Air Jordan 1, the Nike Air Force 1, probably even models like the Nike Dunk, etc., any of the Nike Legacy models, and he can't use anything like the Nike branding, like the swoosh or anything to that effect. Definitely expected to hurt his business a considerable amount, but we shall see what ends up happening with that. Obviously, with the one-off customs that he's able to do, we can expect to see more of his work, but it's also needed to be noted that while this is all happening, there's also some beef that we're seeing relating to Urban Necessities, because whatever this undisclosed amount is must be a considerable amount, because it appears as though Urban Necessities, which the shoe surgeon has a financial investment in, it appears to be on the brink of bankruptcy. So let me pull up this article for you guys to follow along. So just recently, Urban Necessities founder 2J's Kicks posted on his social media platform regarding that, regarding the recent allegations of Urban Necessities not paying its consignees and allegedly having money held up for months, if not years at this point. JC Lopez, aka 2J's Kicks, mentioned in this video that in early 2022, his wife was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, which had shifted his attention away from his store, Urban Necessities, which, for those that don't know, Urban Necessities is one of, if not the biggest brick and mortar sneaker resale shop out there. He currently, Urban Necessities currently has a location at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. So JC in 2022, like I said, ends up turning his attention away from his store due to his wife's health. And after a few months had passed, he ends up meeting the shoe surgeon and his business partners at a SneakerCon event, where they begin to discuss joining Urban Necessities to assist with operations due to growing concerns about his wife's health. According to 2J's Kicks, a deal was signed towards the end of the year, and he later realized that he had no say in the company after the agreement, while still being held liable for any outstanding balances and issues with the business. He then goes on to say that he asked for a buyout from the company and was offered a deal in early 2023, but the surgeon and his partners never signed a contract for his buyout. He explained that as time passed, he asked to be bought out for no money in return, but all the entities still did not contractually agree to the buyout, and he was later terminated from the brand, but was still held liable for the store's outstanding debts. The reason I bring this up is because the shoe surgeon, like I just previously mentioned, has to pay out this undisclosed amount to Nike. And given that consignees are not getting paid their money, and from what it looks like with this drama coming out, they are also trying to liquidate inventory, it would appear as though they're trying to siphon the money out of Urban Necessities to be able to pay for the legal fees, which is, quite frankly, a pretty scummy thing to do and take advantage of a very reputable resale shop, but also taking down somebody who has been instrumental in pushing what we know as modern sneaker culture to this day. Not sure how this is going to play out. JC wants to get full ownership of Urban Necessities back to essentially right the wrongs that the brand has committed against their consignees. He feels as though if he's able to gain 100% back of the company, he'll be able to pay all of the consignees back and make everything whole, but we will have to see what ends up happening. in the next coming weeks, coming months, and who knows, potentially maybe coming years, given that this is probably going to turn into a pretty major lawsuit, to say the least. So moving into our final story, we're going to be talking about Nike's current financials, because let me tell you guys, Nike is running into a very, very tough spot. So posted this was May. This was posted on 6/26/2025. So last week, Nike posts their fourth quarter financials for full year results of 2025 for full year ended May 31st, 2025. And it looks that Nike is down 10% on a reported basis for their revenue, reporting $46.3 billion. Fourth quarter revenues were down 12% at $11.1 billion. And their gross margin for the fourth quarter decreased 440 basis points to 40.3%, and diluted earnings per share was $0.14 for the fourth quarter. If we pan down to the consolidated statement of income, it looks like on a 12-month basis, like I said, they're down 10%. Gross profit down 14%, and income before income taxes down 42%, income tax expenses down 33%, and it looks like net income was down 44% from 5.7 billion down to 3.219 billion, which is an insane drop in net income. I can only imagine what the board meetings are for Nike, what the shareholder meetings are for Nike. From insiders that I've spoken to within the organization, they have told me that Nike has lost a considerable amount of market share in the past few years, which is expected because Nike during 2020 to 2022 really pushed a lot of their legacy models like the Nike Dunk, the Air Force One, and the Air Jordan 1 to a point where there was just crazy market oversaturation. And as people switched their priorities in terms of where they were putting their money post-COVID in 2023 and the growing concerns with the financial markets and the economy, people were obviously not putting their money into sneakers like they previously were. And because of that, a lot of pairs that Nike was pumping out were sitting. And as interest in consumer spending shifted to more comfort-based footwear, that just hurt the brand even more because Nike had no models that were able to compete with the likes of Adidas with the Foam Runner and Easy Slide, as well as New Balance with their comfort-based footwear, or Crocs, or any of these other brands that ended up picking up significant market share within the past couple of years. As I understand it, the people at Nike are hungry to get that market share back, and I'm very interested to see what ends up happening because as of right now, I do not see how or what they're going to be able to do to regain that net income that they are looking for, especially because they did introduce in 2023 a several $billion cost cutting plan, which was expected to come with some serious layoffs at the company. I know that the stock has taken a considerable hit. I will actually post that up on the screen for you guys to see what it's looking like from the past couple of years. I apologize, guys, for the yawn. It is getting a little bit late as I'm recording this. But so I'll throw it up on the screen with the stock ticker to see where that's at. But from what I've been seeing, it has taken a significant plummet. If you are a traditional investor and you know that when stocks are down, it's a time to buy, you could look at this as an opportunity to purchase this stock. Now, that is not financial advice. I want to make that very clear. However, it is said that as stocks go down, it's a perfect time to buy the stock, as it's considered being on sale. So do with that what you guys wish. But nonetheless, it will be interesting to see what Nike is able to do in the next few years, because whatever it is, they have to do some serious turnaround to be able to take back a lot of that market share that's been lost. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you guys think Nike's cooked, let me know in the comment section below. I'm curious to see what everybody else's thoughts are. I know I've seen a few other YouTubers as well as podcasters talk about this a lot, specifically the guys over at Complex with the Sneakers Podcast. If you guys are watching on YouTube, do me a favor, like the episode as well as subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all the episodes. If you guys are watching on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do me a favor and follow as well as leave a rating. Really helps support the channel and get that pumped out there to new viewers. If you guys want some more short form content, be sure to check out my main channel at Jean-Luc Paul Daigle, specifically the episodes that I'm dropping of sneaker reviews such as the Leche Blue, Zoom Field Jacks, as well as the 5 types of sneaker, or not the 5 types of sneakers, the upcoming sneaker releases for July of 2025. With that being said, guys, I'd like to thank you all for coming for the culture, and I'll catch you guys in the next conversation.
It's time to honor MLK and Malik Shabazz. Paradox teaches class while we speak to reach the mass. Yeah, shame on those who think we need to delete the past. We need to educate so our kids forge a better path. If the future is a glass, mine is half full. I had to leave the internet because I can't stand bull. And there's no need for profanity when conversing candidly. Facts are just that. Follow the cure for insanity.